What's up, my peeps? So, usually I'd start these off by saying, you know what time it is, this and that. But I kind of changed up the time on you because usually I post these up on Fridays, and now it's Thursday. But you should be able to tell what it is anyways from the title. So it is now time for the SummerSlam 2015 prediction game video, where I'll be going over every single one of my predictions for the show. There's 10 matches on the card. That's a lot of matches. That's more than the usual WrestleMania card. WrestleMania 30 had, I think, 8 matches. WrestleMania 31 had like 9 or 10. It depends on if you count the main event as 2 matches or not. So yeah, that's a lot of matches for SummerSlam. They did boost the time from 3 hours to 4 hours, so now it's the same amount of time as WrestleMania. I'm just hoping that they don't incorporate a bunch of like, you know, singers or whatever performing live or something like that. I'm not interested in watching that. But we've got, you know, Brock versus Taker. We've got Cena versus Seth Rollins, both titles on the line. That's a big match right there. I mean, we might see, if there's a winner, we might see for the very first time somebody hold both the US and WWE Championship. So, before I get started with my predictions, I'd like to address the previous prediction game video. So, for Battleground, over 150 of you left predictions. That's pretty damn cool. That's awesome. Thank you for participating. I always like to see a lot of people participating in these prediction game videos. But the most surprising thing is, out of all those people, nobody got every single prediction right. No one. And where most people went wrong was the Bray, Wyatt, and Roman Reigns match, where a lot of us thought Reigns was going to win, but Wyatt won. And also the Kevin Owens versus John Cena match, where a lot of people thought Owens might win the title, but Cena ended up winning that match. Oh, and also, before you guys go ahead and leave your predictions, quick little note, and I've mentioned this before, don't go ahead and say this guy retains the title if you think the champ is going to retain the title in the title match, because the champ could still retain the championship but lose the match. We see that a bunch of times. I mean, Elimination Chamber, Seth Rollins did retain the title, but he lost the match to Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose was the winner of that match. Same goes for Battleground. Seth Rollins retained the title, but Brock Lesnar won the match. At least it was announced that Brock won the match on Raw the next night. So, instead of saying so-and-so retains, go ahead and tell me who wins the match. Anyways, let's get started with the predictions. Oh, and let's top the last time. Last time it was 150 something predictions. I'm sure we can top that. And right now, I'm basically giving shoutouts to the winners. But in the future, as the prediction game gets bigger, I've got bigger plans for it. So that's all I'll say about that. Anyways, let's start it. And I don't even know if there is a kickoff match for SummerSlam. There probably is, but they haven't announced which match is going to be the kickoff match. So it could be whatever. It doesn't really matter. But let's start off with Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev. So Dolph just came back on Raw, and now right away he's facing off against Rusev at SummerSlam. And when it comes to this match, I hope Rusev wins it, because I'm a big fan of Rusev, and you know, he used to be undefeated, so I don't like seeing him lose a bunch of matches after being undefeated for so long. Just because of John Cena beating him, he like loses all these matches afterwards. Not a big fan of that. So I'm hoping Rusev wins, but this isn't about who I'd like to see win. It's who I think is gonna win, and I still think Rusev is gonna win. So Rusev crushed Dolph Ziggler, SummerSlam, Machka, Futeria, make him humble, camel clutch, he'll win the match. Moving on, we've got the Divas match, and this isn't a title match. It's going to be Team Bella, the Bella Twins, and Alicia Fox versus Team B.A.D, Naomi, Sasha Banks, and Tamina versus Team PCB, Paige, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. Now, once again, this is a non-title match, so really there's not that much, there's no reason really for Nikki Bella to win this. Non-title matches, a lot of the time, I'd say like 80 to 85% of the time, are used to give the challenger or the non-champions an opportunity at the title by pinning the champion. And that's what I see happening here. So, I think it's between Team B.A.D and Team PCB, but since I can only pick one, I'm going to go ahead and say that Team PCB Paige, Charlotte, and Becky Lynn are going to get the win over Team Bella, probably by pinning Nikki Bella. And then we've got Kevin Owens versus Cesaro. I really think that this match is going to be, it's going to be the match of the night. Either this or the WWE Championship match. But I think this really has like the best potential to be that match of the night. We've got two really, really good in-ring competitors here. I'm a fan of both guys. And this is a tough one. I'm not, I went back and forth, wondering if Kevin Owens wins or Cesaro wins. At the end of the day, I'm going to go with Kevin Owens winning this one. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cesaro takes the win. And if Cesaro wins, I'd be happy with that. Same with Kevin Owens. If he wins, I'm happy with that too. I just want a cool match to watch with these two guys. And then you've got Ryback versus The Big Show versus The Miz in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. A match that was supposed to take place at Battleground, but because of Ryback's staph infection, that match didn't take place. So when it comes to this one, I think it's between Ryback and The Miz, especially because of how The Miz has been losing, and he hasn't been looking all that strong during this feud. He's been getting beat up by both Ryback and The Big Show. So something like a surprise Miz win could happen, but I think it's more likely that Ryback just retains his championship here. So I'll go with Ryback on this one. And then, moving on, we've got The Arrow and Neville versus Stardust and King Barrett in a tag team match. Whenever there's like a special guest host, I mean, he's not the special guest host of SummerSlam or anything like that, but usually when there's a special guest host, like when they had those on every Raw for a while, back in 2009 or 10 or something like that, and they'd be in the match, they usually win. Most of the time. I'd say 95% of the time, they win. In this case, he's in a tag team match with Neville, facing off against Stardust and King Barrett. I'm going to go ahead and say that The Arrow and Neville win this match. I see no reason for Stardust and King Barrett to win. Following that, we've got a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Championship match. It is going to be the Primetime Players defending their titles against the Los Matadors, the Lucha Dragons, and the New Day. Now, the one thing I want to see the most out of this match is the New Day walking out as two-time WWE Tag Team Champions. Why? Simply because New Day rocks! New Day rocks! And they're the most over tag team on the roster. For good reason, they're the most entertaining tag team in the division right now. At least in my opinion. And I just feel like they lost the tag team titles, I should say, way too soon. And I thought that they were going to win them back at Battleground, but obviously that didn't take place. So, with them still remaining in that tag team title scene and being in this tag team title match at SummerSlam, I think there's a reason for that, and that reason is because they're going to win the titles back this Sunday. So, going with the New Day on that one. And then, we've got Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper versus Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. I see some interference going on in this match. And for that reason, I'm going to go with Bray and Luke Harper getting the win. I'll go into more detail on that in the simulation video of that match. Same goes for all the other predictions. And then we've got Seth Rollins versus John Cena for both the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and the United States Championship. Both titles are on the line. And out of all the matches on the card, this I have to say was the hardest one to predict. I spent so much time thinking about who would win this. And at the end, I was like, alright, I just gotta make a decision, gotta stop, thinking about it too much. It's just a freaking prediction. So, I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins, but I could see both these guys winning it, just like the Cesaro and Kevin Owens match. And I'm gonna do something here that I haven't done before in the prediction game, and that's change my decision. I'm gonna change my decision for the Owens and Cesaro match, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that I think Cesaro's gonna win that one. So, going with Seth Rollins and Cesaro for their respective matches. And then for the main event, Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker, the big rematch from WrestleMania 30. I've got a lot to say about this one too, so stay tuned for part 2 of this video. I'm going to go with Lesnar winning the match. So that's it for my predictions. Now it's time for you guys to give me your predictions in the comments section below. Let's go ahead and top the number of predictions for Battleground. I know we can do it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, as always, you can click that like button, and I'm out. See ya.